Okay, so today we are going to start with lesson 6. Okay, so as far as now we have understood what is business communication, like what are the aspects that comes in English language, like all the parts of speech, different ways to form a sentences, followed by what is communication and what are the different modes of communication. Okay, post that we are going to start with two chapters. That's going to be business correspondence 1 and 2. In this we are going to teach you like the importance of how you're going to draft a document. Okay, be it a letter, be it a official document, or what is MIS and how MIS helps a business communication platform, followed by how office correspondence will take place. That is how memos, notice and office orders will be circulated. Okay, so all these things will be covered in this particular chapter. Basically, we will explain you what are the formats and how these formats are being taken into consideration for understanding. Okay. Just a minute. Okay. So the concept of business correspondence, we start with just like an introduction. So why introduction plays an important role in this chapter? So let's say if I'm giving an virtual speech or I'm giving an a real speech, okay, I know who are my audience and I speak to them. Okay, I know what is their response, what needs to be my verbal communication, and what is going to be their non-verbal response. Okay, all these things can be identified in a speech where it is being provided. When a person smiles back, you know that a person is responding to you. Or when a person says, yes, I have understood, or nods their head, we feel a kind of confidence. Okay. This confidence is something that is required for a speech that's being given. So when I'm doing something called as return communication, how do I ensure that I'm getting a positive response from my readers? Okay, now we don't call them as audience, we call them as readers, because they're going to read my return content, and pursuant to that they're going to give me certain feedback. Okay, here what happens in writing a letter or any kind of written communication, a person reads this and you don't know what is their response, okay, until they come back with a feedback. So if a person smiles, or if a person hears your voice, or if a person gives a gesture, okay, like happiness or sadness or a shock, okay, after reading your message, we will not be sure what is their response until and unless they give us a return message in return. Okay, for this perspective, business correspondence, we are going to help you in understanding the different formats of organizing a letter and the way a letter needs to be drafted. The first and foremost thing is a business letter. So what happens in a business letter? A business letter is usually a letter from one entity to another, or between such organizations and their customers or clients and other related parties. So whenever a mail is being drafted for business perspective, from one person in the business, might be a salesperson to the customer, or a purchaser to a supplier. Okay, if I'm a business person and I want to purchase certain raw materials, I write a mail to my supplier. Okay, so all these things will be considered as business mails. So instead of calling it as business mails, we also call it as business letters. When letters are being drafted for trading purposes, it will be called as business letters. Okay. So what happens here? Rules do exist for business letter writings. So there are certain rules which has been laid down, which has to be kept in mind before we start drafting a business letter. So what are these things? So basically, even here they teach you that always have an I perspective. I'll explain you what are those concepts. We always emphasize on the reader. Okay, we emphasize on giving the entire information. We set out a layout or a way in which we express our letters, and followed by this we also we can also have a non-verbal communication. Like once I send a official mail, I can also send a WhatsApp message saying that please check this, and whether it's correct or not, kindly get back to us. Like this, there are different ways in which a letter can be communicated, followed by different communication process to ensure that the letter is being read and accepted in the way it's being sent across. That is, the information is grasped in the way in which we try to explain. So all these things become very important in business letter writing. Followed by this, there are certain essential things of a good business letter. So what are these important things? So we have come up with certain things which is being followed globally. Okay, but in Indian context, we have emphasized and we have told what are the various aspects that we need to ensure that it's being covered in a business letter or a business mail. Okay, so whenever a business letter is being sent across, what are the basic things that I have to ensure it's being covered in my letter? The first thing is letterhead. So every company, if you see, every small organization, be it a sole proprietorship to a big corporate, okay, if they have a company name or a sole proprietor name, they always ensure that the name is being provided ahead of their invoice, receipts being generated, any receipt, purchase receipt, sales receipt, whatever receipts are being generated, any letters that's being sent across. So all these formats, when they write something, they'll write it on their letterhead. Okay, so letterhead is something called as a basic thing which is being followed by every entity. How these letterheads will come across? Letterheads, along with other printable materials like business cards and brochures, are a visual representations of any business. Okay, and why it becomes a visual representation? If you see in business letters, it's not just the letter that's coming into picture. Okay, along with the letter, we also have, just a minute. Along with the letter, we also have our logos. Our logos can also be trademarks, or it can be a trademark logo, or it can be an untrademarked logo as well. Okay, so all these things will form an image for the organization. So let's say if you are speaking about Toyota, okay, we know what their symbol is. Or if you're talking about Mercedes Benz, they will have that symbol. So along with the name, they will also give their particular symbol. Okay, so this is going to give a particular impact, the quality of the paper, what they use. Okay, all these things will give a impact as to how the company is functioning. Essential information about the company and the organization is provided. So we'll explain you what are those essential items that's being provided. So generally what happens, any given corporate, okay, be it a small entity or a big entity, companies spend a considerable amount of time, effort, and money on getting it designed. So it's not an easy task. Once an organization wants to develop a letterhead, they spend a lot of time on that. Not just time, even money and efforts. So all these things go into place just because they want to have a letterhead that's going to present their business in the corporate world. So all these things become very, very essential. So in a letterhead, what happens? So let's say like you're studying for company secretary, and after you become a company secretary, you will be working for LLPs or private limited, public limited entities. Okay. For all these things, you have to ensure whether the compliance is being taken care. In that, now we have come up with a new compliance. That is, the Companies Act, that is, the rules has come up and told there are certain mandatory things which needs to be covered in a letterhead. Okay, so as per the rules, we have to ensure that the company name is being present there. Okay, the company name should be fully present. Like let's say it's an ABC private limited company or ABC public limited company. The entire name of the company should be present. After that, the address of the company can have multiple offices in the country. Okay, but it will have one registered office. So whichever is the registered office, they have to give the information of the registered office. If they have multiple corporate office, so let's say HDFC is situated in Maharashtra. Okay, so if it is situated in Maharashtra, let's say it is working in Mumbai. So in Mumbai, they will give what is their registered office first. Okay, followed by that, whatever branch office is there, that they will give it at the bottom. Okay, they will not give it at the header, they will give it at the bottom. They will give a branch office one address followed by phone number, branch office 2 address phone number, branch office 3 address phone number. So maximum they'll give you 2 or 3 branches. Okay, so generally when we have one registered office, that needs to be given in the header, and if we have any other corporate office, we need to give it in the footer. Okay, then after this we have to give, first one was name, followed by registered address and corporate address, and after that we have to give SIN number. So what is SIN number? Each company, when it is being registered, it will be provided with a corporate identification number. Okay, MCA will provide corporate identification number to every company that's being registered, be it an OPC company, be it a private limited company, be it a public limited company. Okay, this SIN number needs to be provided. Followed by that, they have to give email address and also the contact number. So all these 5 things has to be provided. Along with this, they have also told if you have GST registration, okay, GST registration details should also be provided in your letterhead. So these are the 6 things which needs to be present in your letterhead. Okay, so these 6 concepts we have to ensure it's being present in my letterhead. So drafting of my letterhead will take a relatively longer time. Address of various offices can be provided in the footer. So what are the things that's important here? One is company logo. If the company has a tagline, so they can give that tagline in a small way. Like if you see for Boost, they'll give a tagline like "Boost is the secret of my energy" or something like this. Okay, so if a company has a tagline, they can give that tagline. Otherwise, not required. After company logo, they will give the company name, followed by address, registered office address, and also corporate office address. There are multiple corporate offices, it will provide it in the footer. Then you have to provide your SIN number, followed by contact number, and after that email address and also the website address. Along with this, if your company is a registered company, then you have to give your GST number also if you have taken GST registration. Okay, these are the important things which needs to be ensured in my letterhead. Okay, after letterhead, the next thing that comes into picture is reference number. So what is reference number? A reference number helps us in retrieving the letter at a later stage. It may contain the initials of the letter writer, the department from which the letter originates, and the distinctive number allotted to the letter. It is pre-printed number stickers for the purpose. So the best thing that I can give you an example here is the courier service, what you generally ensure. Okay, so what happens in courier service? So in courier service, what we generally do, when you send across a courier, they will actually put a barcode sticker. Okay, so why they do put a barcode sticker? So it is easier when I scan, I can know from whom it is being sent, to whom it is going. Okay, the sender, the receiver, the date, the package details, and all these things we can identify. The same way, when the information is sent from government department to various other departments, okay, or a government department to various other companies, generally they will give a reference number. So how will the reference number be is, let's say it is being sent across by MCA. Okay, if it is sent by MCA, they will give it as MCA slash the year, that is which year is this, 2021 financial year, MCA slash 2021 slash, they will give you which region, might be Maharashtra as MH, Karnataka as KA, Kerala as KL, okay, or Delhi is DL, okay. Like this, they can give you one area where it is coming from, followed by any number, okay, sequence number or something, whatever is there. Like this, each organization can have different patterns in following a reference number. Okay, so these are the reference numbers which will be mandatorily provided by government departments, and even by organizations they follow it, because when a large number of letters are being sent across, uh, not by mail but by registered post, courier, or speed post, then it becomes very much mandatory for us to have a reference number. Why? Let's say from government department we get a notice. Okay, for the notice we have replied, so when we reply back, we keep the reference number, and we say reply to the reference number, we give the reference number was being given by government. Okay, we give this number, and let's say most of the times we send every response through a registered post. Okay, when registered post we send, they give an acknowledgement, and we maintain this acknowledgement with us, we don't throw it across. we always retain this acknowledgements as a proof. So when we provide this acknowledgement, it says that it's being delivered to the office, whichever government office it is. So then they will start checking the letters that's being received. In that, they will see what is the reference number. So most of the time, the reference number also we will write it on the post cover. Okay, so even on the post cover at the beginning, okay, before writing the two wherever it has to go, we generally the reference number. So it becomes easier for them to understand this letter is coming for this particular reference number and it will go to that particular folder. Okay. For this perspective, reference number plays a very, very important role to track where the letter is being sent and what is the response being received. And after this, the next concept what we have is date. Okay, the date must be written in full without abbreviating the name of the month. Okay, so here they say it as, for example, here you give it as first 1/6/2019, may be preferred in writing as 1st June 2019. If it's not possible for you to write the entire thing, like let's say January, February, or November, September, all these months are relatively bigger, then you can write it as 1 SEP 2019 for instead of September, NOV for November. Okay, so it is always preferable instead of writing the number, it's better to write the name of the month, because most of the time, if you forget to keep these full stops, it will be considered as 1609. Okay, 019. So we don't know what you're trying to be, or what is the date that you're trying to depict. So it's better you give the month after followed by the date. So that's always advisable. So when you're writing your dates in corporate letters, the first most important thing is kindly ensure the date. Okay, don't be in a hurry to write it as 01/06/2019. It's always preferable 01, might be you can use slash or just a space, June space 2019. This is the most preferable format and globally accepted as well. Then you have special markings. A few spaces before the date, one may show a special marking such as confidential, airmail, through registered post, courier, speed post. So here what they are saying, before writing the date, you can write one word. That is, after like before writing the date, I can write it as it is a confidential letter, or I can write it as sent through speed post, through register post, or through courier, through airmail. Okay, I can write any of these headings at the beginning as well. So in the reference number they identify, if they want to know how we have sent this particular document, it will be easier for them. And if it is a confidential mail, they will not circulate it to the public at large. Okay, or even if it is sent across to income tax department or labor department or PF department, they will ensure it is being kept in a protected way. They will not circulate it to many people. So for this reason, if there is any special marking, we can give those special markings as well. Okay. So after that, we go with inside address. So you would have known this, like in your school, you would have started writing letters. In that, what we will do, the first thing is after writing all these things, we will write it to, let's say we are writing it for our college principal, to the principal, college address, college name or something, followed by the place where it is being place where it is situated. Okay, so for all these things, inside address will become important. So inside address will be, we will write it as to, and after writing it as to, we will write it as the complete name and address of the recipient is written below the special marking. It must be ensured that the inside address and the address is, inside name and the address is exactly the same as that used on the envelope. So whenever we are writing certain information, we have to ensure the information like to address, whatever we are writing inside the letter, it will be the same as what we are writing on the envelope. Okay, so on the envelope, after special marking or the way the information is being sent across, after this, wherever we send this information, the address needs to be same. The address can't be changed. Then you have attention line. So what happens in attention line? If the letter is addressed to a company or one of its departments. So the next one will be if I need to give it to a particular person, okay, let's say if you go to income tax department, there will be a lot of people, like lot of departments for direct taxes, indirect taxes. So my letter has to be addressed to a particular department. Might be I got a letter from GST department, okay, asking for certain clarifications. So when I'm replying for this, I have to write a letter particularly saying to which department this particular letter has to be provided or where it needs to be surrendered. So for this perspective, it becomes important for me to give an attention line. So how does an attention line look? It will look as for the attention of Mr. Harish Arora, manager industrial credits. Okay, so I can give the particular person who is the head of the department or any particular person from whom I have received the letter or clarification requirement. So I can give their name and specify their information. Okay, so attention line will be the next concept. And after this, we go with salutations. So salutation is basically the respect or regards what we extend to the receiver. So here the choice of a salutation depends on the extent of formality one wishes to observe. The following list shows different salutations in descending order of formality. So the first one will be sir. You can just start it with sir, or you can start it with dear sir or dear madam, or you can write it as dear Mr. Harish Arora or something, whatever you want to write. Okay, Mrs. So this is like least priority. This is like average priority. This is like highest priority. So highest salutation, what you can give for a person will be dear Mr. followed by their name. Okay. So this will be the highest salutation what I can give for a particular individual to whom I'm writing a letter. So here, dear sir slash ma'am may be used as a standard salutations. Most of the time, if you don't know who is your receiver, okay, I've got it from a department, but I don't know who is heading this department, whether it is a male or a female or what is their name, I have no idea. If that is the perspective, it is always advised just go with dear sir slash ma'am. Okay, so this will be a regular usage. The next one is the use of respected sir should be avoided as the word respected not being an adjective is grammatically unacceptable. So respect is not an adjective. Respect is a verb. Okay, it's a feeling. Sorry, respect is an adverb. So since it's an adverb following a name, it is not correct. And a noun should always be preceded by an adjective. Okay, a verb should be preceded by an adverb. We have covered this in the initial chapters. So since this is a noun, okay, sir, ma'am is a noun, it needs to be preceded by an adjective. Adjective is a dear, dear is an adjective. So hence we always go with the word dear and we don't go with respected. Okay, so kindly avoid the word respected and always have a word dear, dear sir, dear madam. Then after this, we have subject heading. So what happens in subject heading? Subject heading is something that is heading need not be too long, okay? And the same time, it need not be too short. It needs to be precise and brief. And we have to give all the relevant information what is required. Out in the first instance, what the content of the letter is going to be. Subject heading may be written in capital letters with rest in the lower case and underscored or in capital as shown below. So here what happens, you can just write it as subject semicolon erection work of beginner project or erection work of beginner project. So you can either give it only the initial words to be in capital or you can give the entire sentence in capital. Okay, this is completely left to you. The style what you want to follow you can follow, but this is the format in which it's going to be written. Okay, then after that it would be of immense help, especially if it is addressed to a large organization which has a central department where all mails are received and sorted. So subject will be very excuse me, subject will be very, very important, because if there are multiple departments in an organization, okay, so if the mail has to be sent to a particular department, if you write the subject and also say which department it needs to go, it will become easier for them to identify. So how these departments will be identified, one with the help of reference numbers and the other with subject, okay. So if you write these two things along with attention line, these three things will ensure that your letter is not being lost when you write it to a particular department. So the three things will be subject heading, attention line, followed by reference numbers, okay. So these three things we have to ensure we write it in a proper format. And after this, the next concept what's going to come is the main body of the letter. So the main body of the letter. So what happens in the main body? The main body of the letter may be divided into three parts. Okay, most business letters begins with a brief introduction which states the purpose of the letter. The first one, what we are going to start is might be I, Pavithra Mohan, working for ABC Private Limited, hereby write this letter in order as a reply to the mail being received by you on so and so date with respect to erection work of beginner project. Okay, so here I'm just gonna write the first thing as an introduction. This is being followed by a longer middle section which presents relevant facts in a logical and coherent manner. This section may be divided into several paragraphs, each dealing with a separate point and write coherently. So the middle part will be the entire explanation what I'm going to give them. So the explanation can be in one paragraph or I can have it in different paragraphs. I can have it in multiple paragraphs and ensure whatever information they have asked for, the entire information is being provided by me. Okay, I should ensure nothing is being left out. Then followed by this, I go with the conclusion is a polite rounding off. So finally we write it as kindly ensure that the relevant information is being hereby provided and pursuant action is being taken across. Okay, something like this we can give it in the last sentence and ensure that the information is complete. So some of the last lines which can be is, we thank you in anticipation, we look forward to a favorable response. We will be glad to furnish additional information, comma, if required. We expect you. We expect you will continue to extend patronage to us. We hope it is the beginning of a long business relationship. We regret it may not be possible to deliver the goods immediately. Okay, so whatever is your last line, these are certain examples like this. You can give your last line as your conclusion. Okay, every business letter, it is advisable to round off every business letter with the phrase thanking you. So after writing this particular sentence, after one space, okay, one enter, the next line you can write it as thanking you. Okay, so after thanking you, I have to go with my complimentary close. So what happens in my complimentary close? Complimentary close should go along with your salutations what's being given. So let's say if I give a salutation as sir, it needs to be yours faithfully. If I give it as dear sir, it needs to be yours sorry, if it is sir, it will be yours truly. If it is dear sir, it will be yours faithfully. If it's dear Mr. X, it will be, I'm giving it to a person individually, so it will be yours sincerely. Okay, so this is basically the format which is being provided to you, so you'll have to follow this. And here if you see, in yours you're not going to give it as YOUR apostrophe S. Okay, apostrophe is not generally required, you can remove that. And in truly you can remove TRUELY is not required, you can just write it as TRULY. Okay, so after this we are going to go with signatory. So whoever has drafted this letter, they can sign this particular letter. After this, what you're going to do is you're going to give 4 to 5 spaces, okay, for signature, and the name may be written at the end, because most of the signatures will not give the detail of the person who is signing. Okay, their signature will be different but their name will be different, we will not be able to identify what is their name. So if this is the case, it is advisable to write their name in a particular bracket. Okay, so after this, you can give their designation. So whatever is their designation, that can be provided. After this, we are going to go with enclosures and copies circulated. So if the letter requires certain additional information, this information can be provided in the form of enclosures. Okay, the list of enclosures are details of those to whom copies of letters are being circulated, that will be provided at the end after signature. Okay, copies of the letter may require circulation while keeping the original receipt in the dark. Okay, so here there are certain requirements where the document has to be circulated to multiple people. Might be I got it from income tax department, but this information needs to be provided along with income tax to MCA as well. Why? Because the financials are filed with MCA as well as the financials are filed with income tax department. If that is the case, I can send one hard copy to the income tax department, a photocopy of the same, the information what's being sent to income tax department, I can send it to MCA department as well. Okay, so here what I'm going to do, I'm not going to give the reference number and all those details. I'll just say pursuant to a certain information required by the income tax department, we are updating the same to the MCA department. Okay, so this is what is called as keeping the original recipient in the dark. I'm not going to give the information from whom I got a letter. Okay, the abbreviation in such cases is suitably changed to BCC in the letter being circulated. So there are certain concepts in your mail which we will explain in the next chapter, like what is 2CC and BCC. Okay, so there also we will explain you in detail how this concept of BCC works. Then you have annexures. Annexures can be additional documents, if any, in the form of tables, formats, Excel sheets, printouts, which needs to be attached to a letter, that will be attached as annexures to the formal letter. So after this, we have business letters. In business letters, we are going to understand that there are two types of business letters. One is formal business letter, and the next one is informal business letter. So what are the different types of formal business letters? Formal business letters will be regarding business deals that's happening in a company, orders which you have received, claims, dispute settlement, agreement, information request, sales report, and other related or other official matters. These letters will be considered as formal business letters. So what are informal business letters? So these letters includes memorandums which is being circulated within the organization to send across certain information. Then we have appraisal letters, interview letters, thank you letters or thanks letters, reference letters, cover letters, customer complaint letters, emails, and others which are less important or less regular. Okay, they are not happening day to day. Once in a while it happens. So these will be considered as my informal letters. So the formal and informal will have different layouts. So what are these layouts? So layouts are will explain you. I'll explain you both the formats. Okay, how a business letter block format will look and how semi-block format will look. So here we will explain you first the layouts. The layout is the style in which I'm going to write a letter. Okay, types of layout of letter. First one will be block layout, and the second one will be a semi-block layout. So these are the formats in which we can write a particular letter. So what happens in a block layout? In the block format of letter layout, the date of the letter, all references, subjects, salutations, the paragraph in the body of the letter, conclusion and signature all commences at the left margin as it shows in the specimen below. Another point to note is that in this format, no commas are used after inside address, salutation, and complimentary note. Okay, this is called as blocked format. Blocked format will be like this. We have just taken one example, and they will explain this. Just a moment. Okay. So that block format will be like this. So what happens? First, the company name will be given. After that, the registered office address, followed by phone number and email address. So as per the as per the letterhead requirement of company law, we are complying with this. If there is a GST number and SIN number is not provided here. SIN number and GST number also has to be mandatorily provided. Okay. So after that, we are going to start with reference number. So we told you this is related to companies. This we have received in the month of March. It might have a reference number that 1 out of 26. So this depends entirely from organization to organization. Each organization will have a different way of reading these reference numbers. After this, we are going to give the date. Okay. So kindly ensure after all these things there is no comma at the end. Then it will be the manager followed by address and all these information. There is no full stop or comma in block format. After this, we are going to start with reference. In reference, we are going to give reference, order, number, whatever is required. Okay. Then we are going to start with dear sir. If there is a subject, they would provide. Since here they have not followed a subject, but otherwise after dear sir, we generally give a subject here. Okay. In this particular space, we generally give a subject that is mandatory. But most of the things, what happens is if I'm writing a mail, okay, in my mailbox to CC, BCC, subject will come there. So that's the perspective why most of the times they leave out subject here. Okay. If it is not coming here, it means it will be in my mail, third or fourth line. Otherwise, if it is a physical letter which is being sent across, it is always advisable to have a subject after dear sir, just like how they have taught you in the school. Then after that, we are going to start with introduction, followed by whatever points they have will be divided into two separate paragraphs. And finally, they are going to end with a conclusion. The conclusion will be, therefore, we request you to kindly replace our printer model ZXI with a new machine that has no defects at the earliest. Okay. So after this, there can be a word called thanking you or thank you. If they have not provided, might be this is a basic format they have not provided. If you are following your own style, then we would advise you to go with thank you. After that, give a space, go with yours faithfully because it is dear sir. Okay. If it is dear Mr. So and so, it will be yours sincerely. Okay. Like this, we are going to give the salutations. Followed by that, we are going to give two or three spaces for them to sign if it is a physical letter. If it is not a physical letter, most of the times they will have digital signatures as well that can be affixed. Then after that, we have the particular person's name and their designation. Okay, this is one of the sample formats what they have given for a blocked letter format. Okay, then you have semi-blocked letter format. So what happens in semi-blocked letter format? This style is often termed as modified block style letter. In the semi-blocked format of a layout of a letter, the date of the letter and conclusion and signature are aligned to the right of the letter, right side of the letter. Okay. This the entire thing what we saw was left aligned. Here certain things will be right aligned. What is that? Date, conclusion, and signature. Okay. Then after this, the subject or the reference is central aligned. It is aligned at the center. Then you have the paragraph of the body of the paragraph of the body of the letter all commence with a slight indent and commas are used in the inside address. However, comma practice now is to omit the use of comma. However, the common practice now is to omit the use of comma in the inside address, salutation, and complimentary close. Okay. If you require, you can go with the commas. Otherwise, also it is not considered as a mistake. So here what happens, the same letter, if you see, the letterhead will be given, the date will be right aligned, and after that, my reference numbers and all these things will be left aligned. Sorry, my uh, address and all these things will be left aligned, and here my reference number will be center aligned. After this, my dear sir salutation will be left aligned, and wherever paragraph I'm starting, I'm going to give one tab space. Okay, and after that, I'm going to start with my letter writing skill. Here, after doing my letter writing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with my signatures. If there is thanking you will come here. And after that, I'm going to start with my yours faithfully. That's my salutations, followed by one or two spaces. And after that, the name and the address, designation of the person. So these are two formats which will be followed by an organization. You can either go with the block format or you can go with the semi-blocked format. But most commonly today, if you go with any email services being provided by any website provider, service provider like a Gmail, Rediff, Yahoo, or whoever it is, all the mail formats, default it will be aligned to block format. Okay, it will not be semi-block format. So it depends on you. If you are writing a letter, you can go with the block format or you can go with the semi-block format. Both are equally good. It depends on your writing skills. Generally, globally accepted is block format. Okay, so either of the two formats can be used while drafting letters. However, care must be taken to follow any one of the format completely throughout the letter. So it becomes difficult for us in writing in semi-block format because most of the time we will forget, okay, which needs to be right aligned, which needs to be center aligned, which needs to be left aligned, which requires a space and all these things. To avoid all these complications, most of the time everybody goes with the block format because it is all left aligned and no problem there. Okay, and after this, as a result of globalization of commercial activities in the recent year, use of American spelling in day-to-day correspondence in respect of international trade, the word favor is being spelled as favor, labor, labor, center, center. Kindly ensure even the rules of grammar are getting relaxed, but kindly ensure you're not using a lot of simpler formats of English and follow the Britain accent. Okay, or the British writing style. This is still a way where we insist clients to go with British writing style and don't go with the short forms like what the Americans use. Like for thorough, they just give it as THRO. Okay, so all those short forms should be avoided. We shouldn't go with the short forms, or we shouldn't go with the letters like this. It's always advisable to go with our actual letters, what's being followed over the years. Then after this, we are going to start with essentials of a good business letter. Just a minute. Here we are just after this we are going to start with essentials of a good business letter. So what are the important things that needs to be covered in a business letter? Okay, as per a writing skill, what are the information that you have to ensure it's being provided in your letter when you are drafting it? The few things what they have explained is completeness, clarity, simplicity, accuracy, brevity, sincerity, courtesy, style. Okay, we'll see in detail what are these information. First one is completeness. So what they say in completeness is if I have to give certain information in my letter, okay, the first and foremost thing I have to ensure is all the relevant information, whatever is required by my writer. Okay, I get a letter from somebody, they are requesting me for certain information. When they are asking me for certain information, I have to ensure all the relevant information required by the person who has asked me needs to be provided. We have to ensure that the letter is not being incomplete. Why? If the letter is being incomplete, whatever the desired result is supposed to be come out, okay, that will not be available at the earliest. It will take a lot of time. Like I might send across certain information, and the information will take a longer time to reach them. They might have asked for sales during the month of January to March. Okay, I would have misread it and given only the information related to the month of Jan. Okay, I wouldn't have given February and March. So again, they have to come back. They have to ask me. Then I have to give. Here, I would have given only sales. I wouldn't have considered sales returns. Okay, so like all these small errors, I shouldn't do. I have to ensure when I give information, it is complete and all the relevant information, what would be required by the receiver, all needs to be provided. Hence, it is going to avoid delay in the process of completion of the communication requirement. Whatever purpose it's being it begins, that entire process will be completed. Okay, we are not gonna go with certain unwanted delays. And after this, they might be asking or seeking clarifications. The amount of time that they're going to come back asking clarification will be reduced in the first instance itself if you provide all the information. Okay, for this perspective, it is always advised to ensure that you provide complete information. The next one is clarity. So when the writer must always ensure that he is clear about what he is conveying, and he should try to express the information what he is providing in the simplest and the straightforward language. Okay, don't get into hardcore vocabulary or high end vocabulary using all difficult jargons. Okay, which is not being used by other departments. So kindly ensure the information what you're providing is very clear. Okay, don't give any way for ambiguity. Then clear writing and clear thinking. So once you're writing your the information what you're writing is clear, then it becomes easier for the other person, whoever is reading, to think in the same way what you have written. Okay, so kindly ensure the simplest way of writing so it becomes easier for the other person to understand as well. Before writing, the writer should plan the message to be conveyed in order to avoid vagueness. So kindly ensure before you start writing, whatever information you want to write, you're going to assemble the information. Okay, you're going to understand what needs to be written, which is the way I'm going to written, the design or the fashion in which I want to write. Okay, so all these information I'm going to gather it in my mind, and I'm going to understand what is the flow I'm going to write. Once the flow is being once the flow is being clarified and you are clear about it, then you start writing your message. Okay, then after this, we're going to go with simplicity. Simplicity is kindly ensure the business letter should be in plain and simple style. Don't make it too complicated. Then keep it clear and easily understandable. Okay, the business letter should be very simple. That's what most of the people try to explain. Okay, keep it as simple as possible so that the reader is able to understand all the information what you're trying to provide. Then you have accuracy. So what happens with accuracy? Not have any false or misleading statement. The information what you're going to provide is going to be recorded. Okay, or the letters whatever you send it across will be stored. These information what is being sent across will be preserved for a longer time. So kindly ensure whatever information is being sent across is completely clear and full. Okay, don't provide any false information or misleading information. So this information can lead to various outcomes. Okay, if there is some mistake, then it will be a serious impact on you. Okay, whoever is the sender, they will point the sender and they will say this information is wrongly sent. So kindly ensure you are not going to give any way for such mistakes to happen. Okay, that's going to be reduced. For this perspective, the information what I am sending across needs to be complete and should not have any false information or mistakes. Why we should avoid all this information, like mistakes being provided in the information? Because it can cause inconvenience and trouble. Okay, the information what I share now can cause certain inconvenience or trouble in the future date. For this perspective, we have to ensure the information is complete. All the facts and figures, references should be as accurate as possible, and documents like bills of exchange, invoices, statement of accuracy should be carefully prepared and checked. Okay, so before I send across any information, so let's say I'm working as an analyst in a company. Okay, they ask me for purchase related information in the month of May. Okay, and I might have 10 suppliers. So out of 10 suppliers, I have to give how much of quantity is being purchased from each supplier in the month of January. How much of sales returns has happened? What is the amount in which each quantity, like each kilo or each product is being purchased, and how many products are being purchased, and what is the total sum. Okay, so I can just make one small Excel sheet or a table. I can give all this information, and after that I cross check all this information. I'm going to send across this information. Okay, so we have to be very clear and precise as to what information we are providing. Before sending the information, kindly ensure you're going to cross check all the information, that is your bills of exchange, invoices, statements of accounts. Okay, whatever you're sending across from your end, kindly ensure all the information is being checked once. Okay, then you have brevity. Brevity is being brief or crisp. Okay, don't drag all the information, or if they, as I told you, if they ask you for sales information, don't give lot of information where they have to sit and study what is this, where this figure came from, where this figure is coming from, how did this amount finally arrive. Okay, they shouldn't get into any misunderstanding. For this purpose, we have to ensure when I'm providing certain information, the table or the tabular presentation or the Excel sheets are very crisp. Okay, and they are able to understand the information in one shot. If I'm not able to provide it in the form of one particular table, I can also provide it in the form of graph. Okay, which supplier A provided me so much, supplier B provided me so much. Okay, a bar graph or a line graph, whichever is easier, or a pie chart, whichever is an easier way, I can use that in order to give a precise information. Okay, this can be provided as attachments, your mail attachments. The same way, if you are sending a letter, might be a attachment. A printout can be taken, a color printout or something, and it can be attached. So what happens if I'm giving a brief information? Unnecessary words and superfluous matters should be avoided. That's what they say when I'm giving a brief or a crisp information. Then um, soul of the commercial correspondence is being completed. So here what happens if they are asking for sales, only information related to sales in the month of January is being provided. Hence, whatever is required is being provided and there is no ambiguity being created. Okay, every sentence he has written is impregnated with an appropriate meaning. So every information or sentence what you draft in a mail, okay, is crisp. Unwanted information or unwanted beating around the bush, like they ask you a question in your exam, you don't know what is the answer, but you simply keep writing. Okay, don't do that writing while writing a letter. Kindly keep it very crisp and informative. Then you have sincerity. Sincerity is the letter what you're writing is going to be person to person. So you are writing it from one person, it's going to be read by another person. Okay, in business world, this is how communication happens, from one person to another person. When this is happening, kindly ensure you write it with sincerity. That is, he must be himself and not an imitation of somebody else. Keep your own style, keep your own sincere messages, okay, and ensure that the information what you're sharing is reliable. Okay, create this image. This will not happen overnight. It will happen with a certain amount of time. Okay, try to build up this in an organization wherever you get in, and try to create this image that you are sincere. When somebody asks you for certain information, the information what you provide can be reliable. Okay, how do people know that I am a reliable person? This doesn't happen overnight. This definitely takes time. Kindly ensure you build that in the right way. Then after that, uh, uh, a business letter may seem like any common piece of writing if all letters are modeled to be set in a set style. In a set style, okay, it must be originality. It must have originality of the sort that expresses the thoughts of its writers in his own style. So, in a given organization, let's say there are 1,000 employees. Each person is required to reply certain information. Okay, if you're writing the letter in the same way how the other 1,000 employees are writing, you can't stand out. If you want to stand out, what you have to do, you have to have your own style. Your own style will not come again overnight. You have to work on it, and over a period of time you will get your style of writing. Okay, then other after this you have to understand the concept of courtesy. So courtesy should be present everywhere as it pacifies anger and pays in the long run. Courtesy means that the general tone of the letter should be mild and there should be consideration for the feeling of others. Cult and rude letters should be avoided and not to be sacrificed for the sake of brevity. So don't reduce your courtesy just for the sake of brevity. Okay, just I have to be crisp, I have to be precise. I shouldn't write unwanted words or letters or sentences. If you want to avoid those, don't avoid courtesy messages. Okay, discourteous and unpleasant language should be avoided. So what they are saying is, let's say I'm a salesperson. Okay, I have received certain clarification. So some of my customers have asked for certain amount of clarification. When I'm giving this clarification, I have to ensure I'm being polite. Okay, as a sales manager or a marketing manager, I shouldn't be rude, rough, or being too arrogant. So if I try to express any of these ways of expressing the information to my customers, then they will not come back to me. They will go to another sales entity or a showroom or something. Okay, for this perspective, we should always be kind and write in a polite way. So always when you're writing your mail, let it be whoever it is, kindly maintain a mild tone. Okay, don't use crude or cult messages. That is being too harsh. Okay, don't use all your curt messages. Then after that, always try to avoid unpleasant language. And just because I have to keep it short, don't reduce courtesy messages. And after this, we have the style. Okay, style is the way a writer writes or expresses the writer's personality and give the letter what is called its style. Style is writing as in order, as in other walks of life, is a quality peculiar to the individual. Okay, it is determined by the background, training, experience of a person, and the way he thinks. Okay, based on all these things, style of a person will come in picture. See, why we are teaching you how to write letters is these things will be basic things once you get into an organization. Okay, or once you get into articleship also, we will teach you in detail how to write all these business letters to our clients or customers, all these people, because they will get a lot of messages from departments. They will not be able to answer it. They will say, you are our PCS, kindly ensure this information we have received, how we have to answer, you ensure it's being answered. Okay, so when all these messages comes to us, we have to ensure we maintain a style. Okay, this style is the format in which you're going to write. So we have told you basically what is the block format, what is semi-block format. You can follow any of these formats. You can follow the way you want to write, the way you want to use salutations, the way you want to use a conclusion. Okay, so all these things depends on each individual. So you can start writing and slowly develop your own nature, and after you have your own nature, you will slowly modify. Might be if you see another person writing a different way in a different format, you will understand that and you will inculcate in your writing skills as well. Okay, so these are the different styles which slowly over time you will develop, and you will ensure it is a better format. Okay, and here if one writes with naturalness and ease, the letter so produced will reflect the personality of the writer. So over a period of time, if you have a good language and if you are able to articulate the messages in a proper, simple, brief way, then it will become your entire nature in which you are trying to explain, and this will become your own style. Okay, so this is all certain things over time you will develop, but the basic format how it needs to be done is what we are teaching you in this particular class. Okay, then after business letters, we are going to enter into some concept called as business messages. Just a minute. Next, we are going to start with business messages. So what's going to happen in business messages? So what are these messages? Who sends it to whom? The next one, what we're going to have is business message includes from the chairman of the company to the shareholders. Okay, a business message means a message which is being sent across from chairman to shareholder, or employee or related people to sales and purchases, or employees to products or services, or confirmation or cancellation of any orders, invoices, company announcements of any policies or anything, or notification, employee related news such as promotion, awards, increments, bonus, appraisals, resignation, termination. Okay, so all these things are considered as business messages. So when I have to send across certain information within the organization, or organization to few of my stakeholders, then that information will be called as business messages. So these messages are very crucial for a business, be it in the form of an advertisement in print or in electronic mode, or in any form of any other form of any other internal or external communication. So it can either be within the organization through the form of memo, office orders, or office letters, or it can also be in the form of advertisement, publications, newspaper ads, whatever I send it across. Okay, so business information is very, very important. It can either be internal communication or external communication as well. Business communication is very crucial because it's going to develop a business relationship for me with my internal organization as well as external organization. That is within the organization, the employees and all these people, and outside the organization, it will help me to develop with the stakeholders. Okay. And after this, generally the business messages are self-centered approach, preparing communication to see each situation, form own points of view may lead to writer-oriented approach. That is, I have to always ensure that when I write certain business information, it is being written with the reader in the mind. Okay, reader perspective is what I have to ensure. It shouldn't be a writer's perspective. If I'm being a writer's perspective, then it will become a dominant message where the reader is not being given enough amount of consideration. Okay, it is very, very important. After that, writer places emphasis on himself and his interest rather than on the interest of the reader and stakeholder. Here, most of the times in business communication, what happens, let's say the company is going for a declaring dividend of 10%. Okay, so most first and foremost thing, when they issue a notice, they will say that the dividend of so and so percentage is being declared for this financial year. It will be as information which is being provided, but notice is something which is going to call for an AGM. Okay, in the AGM, these matters will be discussed in detail. Most of the times, if it is certain information which needs to be provided only from the writer's perspective, we can go ahead and give that. But later on, the members of the company will be called for an AGM. In the AGM, we will discuss all these things. Okay. So we have to make sure it is not only a writer's perspective. Reader's perspective should also be given equal importance while writing even business messages. Okay. Then you have the you attitude in business writing. You attitude is a writing style that emphasizes readers than the writer. Okay. In this, what happens, the writer should not focus or put ourselves in the place of the sorry writer should not focus or put ourselves in the place of the receiver, and hence he has to consider the receiver, how he's going to receive the information. However, the desired desires, problems, circumstances, emotions, probable reactions of the recipient are to be taken into consideration. So the recipient would have written a mail requesting for exchange of a printer or exchange of a particular product that they have purchased, or the delivery is not being done. Okay, so when they are writing for certain information, I have to ensure that I'm providing certain information which will be precise to them. Okay, individually I'm answering to them and telling, yes, this is the information what you asked for, I'm providing you this information, I hope you're being satisfied. Okay, so kindly keep them in your mind, and understand that you're talking to them in person and convincing them. The same fashion you have to imbibe also while writing your letters. Okay. Business letters must be written from you view instead of I or we viewpoint. That is, emphasize reader's interest and help to win the reader's mind and attention. Okay, this is the main intention why we have to concentrate on you emphasis or you attitude, because I want to win my reader at the end. Okay, my reader shouldn't be lost. So what happens here, for example, they have told I we attitude. So what happens in I or we attitude? We are sure that our new discount policy will be attractive to you. So instead of that, I'm going to write it as, you will surely appreciate my new discount policy. Okay. I am happy to hear that you have selected our company. Instead of that, we can write it as, thank you for giving us the opportunity to serve you. Okay. I will give you 10% discount on credit card purchase. Rather than that, you can write it as, you will get 10% discount on credit card purchase. Okay. When I give it as a you attitude, it means I'm talking to my reader in person. Okay. Individually, I'm conveying the message. When I'm individually conveying this message, they will have a connect with me and try to become my customer or supplier or whatever it is. So I want to win my reader. That's the perspective in which I have to start drafting my document. When I'm drafting my document, in order to win my reader, I will always have to follow something called as you attitude. Okay, why this will be beneficial to the company? Because it is going to create, it helps in creation of a friendly atmosphere, motivates the reader in long term, establishment of mutual trust between the reader and the writer, can create favorable outcome even in bad situations when there is a negative message, or they are not happy with you, or they are not happy with the with our product or something. It will be easier for us to convey a message, and they can at least be satisfied if they are not completely happy. Okay, accomplishment of goal of the letter. What is the goal of the letter? To satisfy my reader. Okay, that can be achieved. Then enhance goodwill of the firm. In the long run, I'm trying to enhance the goodwill of the firm, or the belief people what they have on my firm. Okay, so all these things can be emphasized and improved when you concentrate on you attitude when you're writing a particular letter. Then after this, you have different types of messages. That's what I told you. When a person is not happy with you, they might write angry, or they might be dissatisfied. They will write certain messages that will be called as negative messages. When they're happy with my product, they will write certain messages that will be called as positive messages. They have received the benefit. They are not happy or sad. They are just satisfied. They just have to reply back to me. For that, they will reply is called as persuasive message. Okay, I'm forcing them to give a reply, and they're giving me a reply. So what are these concepts? For example, positive messages. What happens here? Messages where the audience is expected to react in a neutral or positive manner. This consists of routine or a good news, and then it can be as congratulations, confirmations, directions, simple credit request, or credit approvals. When all these things are being done, it will be called as considered as positive messages. So what happens, for example, in positive messages? The receiver likes or expects this news. Okay, like for example, product is being shipped on time. Okay, when I pass across this particular information, like you book something on Amazon, okay, you get a message. Why people send across a message to you? Because they make you feel satisfied, neutral. Okay, or they make you feel positive. Oh, Amazon is doing such a good job. They keep us in track. They tell us where is my product right now, when I will receive, at what time they will receive. They ask me whether I am at home or not, how the product can be received by me. Okay, so all these things are called as positive messages. Okay, I'm trying to keep you involved in the process and keep you motivated as well, so that over a period of time you come back and buy the product from me itself again. So for this perspective, Amazon is building this particular connect. That's called as positive message. The next one can be the receiver needs little education or background to understand the news. Travel agreement for a conference. Okay, so you don't have a proper information. You want to travel from one place to another place. The travel desk will come in between, and they will give you certain inputs. Whatever you ask for, they will give all the clarity. Okay, that's called as positive messages. Okay, then you have negative messages. What happens here? The audience is expected to react in a negative manner. That is, they are not happy, they are angry, they are unsatisfied. Okay, messages consist of bad news, unsatisfaction. The sender's goal is to convey the bad news in a manner that preserves the business relationship. Here, I'm going to tell them a bad news that the shipment is being delayed, or the product cannot be delivered on time, or the service can't be provided any longer. The product, what you got, the warranty is expired. Okay, something like this. If I have to convey the message to the customer, then this will be called as a negative message. This needs to be conveyed in a very delicate and proper manner, because I have to preserve my business relationship with them on a longer term. Okay, so sender wants to avoid an employee quitting or a customer finding another vendor. Okay, where my employee is going to leave the job, I have to ensure he's going to remain with me. And the second one is I have to ensure customer is finding another vendor or moving to another vendor. I have to prevent that and ensure my customer stays with me, because that's the profit where that's the place where I'm going to generate my profit. Refusal to provide a refund, cancellation of an event, or inability to support an event or more. All these things will be considered as negative messages. So what happens here? The receiver may be displeased. That is, cost for repair is to be borne by the receiver, not by the company. Okay, for example, that is considered as a negative message. Or the receiver needs a little persuasion. New log on procedure takes longer but is more secure, like Android phone updation or app updation. Okay, so all these things might require a longer time, but if you do that, the system will become simpler or faster. Okay, all these benefits will be available, but doing that will consume a certain amount of time. You have to follow certain instructions. Okay, this is somewhere where I have to persuade you to do certain information, but you are not happy doing it. This is called as persuasion. The next thing what we are going to come is persuasion message or persuasive message. Here, what happens? This is called as overlapping category in persuasive messages. The audience is expected to need encouragement in order to act as the sender desires. Here, the sender will give certain instructions. Let's say I have got a new television or new setup box. Okay, the setup box, they came and fixed it, but after that it's not working. Okay, here what happens, I have to ensure why it's not working. I call up the telecom number what they have given me, or the call center. They will give me certain instructions. Go to the menu, go to the help, do this, go here, go here, go here. This is called as persuasive message, where I'm telling my client to do as per my instructions. Okay, I'm gonna be the sender. I'm gonna give them certain instructions. They have to follow my instructions and do particular work. Okay, when they do this particular work, the desired result what they require will be received. I can't go to their place and do that particular work. Instead of that, I'm gonna give them the instruction how they have to do, and the desired results can be received. This is called as persuasive messages, where I'm telling the receiver to do certain things. That is, receiver is more like a positive audience. Okay, the receiver is more like a negative audience under certain circumstances. Positive audience, when he has bought a new car or something and I tell him how to start it or something, or when they have got a DTH service and they don't know how to fix it up. Okay, that can be a negative message, negative audience. So it all depends on their mood set, whether they are happy or sad. Based on that, I have to give them the instructions. They will take the instructions, and based on that, they have to work. Okay, whichever way it is, I have to be a neutral person, try to give them the information in order to make sure the relevant change happens. Okay, for example, the receiver may be reluctant. Please speak to the new employee group. Okay, the receiver will not be happy, so we'll tell them there is a group of 10 employees being appointed today. Kindly go and talk to them and help them to understand what is the procedure of new appointees. Okay, the my particular Mr. X will not be happy doing that particular job. Then he'll ask, what should I do? How should I do? What is the process? Should I follow this? Should I follow that? Okay, he will ask me for certain additional information. If that is the case, then I have to ensure that I am giving him proper persuasion, I'm giving him proper motivation, and ensuring him to go and talk to that particular group of people. Okay, this is called as persuasive messages. So here you have three types of messages. One can be positive message, the next one can be negative messages. Even there, I have to try to be neutral to ensure my customers or employees stay back with me. Then you have persuasive messages, where I am giving certain instructions and asking them to act as per my instructions. Okay, these are the different types of messages. Then you have business reports. So what happens in business reports? Reports, you will be sure what is the report. Okay, report are certain information which is being provided by lower level management to higher level, or a company giving it to the public at large. Okay, so these are basically called as reports. Reports is a Latin word which is being derived from the word reportate, which means to carry back. That is, back plus reporting, to carry. A report, therefore, is a description of an event carried back to some who was not present on the scene. So a report is something which gives me a brief explanation of the information what I want to give. It is not going to give me the entire information. It will be brief information, so that whoever is not attended the event or not being present in the event but want to know what has happened in that particular event. For them, we give something called as reports. Okay, so what happens in a report? From whom to whom it travels might be from an employer to superior, from superior to an executive, or from executive to the management. Okay, so whoever it is required, a report can travel within an organization. A business report conveys information to assist in decision making. So why a business report is very important? Because business reports will help the top level management to make decisions, and based on that they will make organization goals. For this perspective, business report will be very, very important. So what are the important things to be that we have to ensure that is being present in a business report? The report must be well ordered so that the reader can easily find information. Okay, so the order in which you write the information should be crisp and precise. Okay, I should be able to identify this. So what we generally do is, at the beginning of the report we will give something called as like how you have index. Okay, so that we can give an index. If the information is, let's say, 50 pages, I can give an index and say what is there in page 1, what is there in page 2, what is there in page 3, just like your textbook. Okay, so it becomes easier for the reader to go to the particular information what they want and find the relevant information. The next one is, it must be objective. It must be objective, because the reader will use the report to make decisions that affect the organization. So the information what you give should be objective. So it shouldn't be something that is vague. It should be crisp. The information what has happened in the organization, only those information you have to provide. You can provide it in the form of tables, pie charts, bar graphs, line graphs, whichever you want, whichever way you want, you can present the information, but the information should be objective. Okay, actuals. It must present information, facts, and data. Where subjective information are required, as in drawing conclusion and making recommendations, they must be presented ethically and be based on the information contained in the report. So wherever I say kindly refer to figure number 1, okay, I give a bar graph or a pie chart. This information what I give in bar graph and pie chart should relate to the other information what I've given. So in some other place, I would have given sales for this financial year month wise. Okay, January this much, February this much, March, April, May. Okay, I would have given each month 1,500, 1,250, 1,300. These numbers I would have given. When I take this particular reference and speak in anywhere again in the report. So let's say I have given this information in page number 5. Again, I'm speaking about this information on page number 27. Okay, so when I'm speaking about that, the relation what I build with page number 5 and page number 27 should be same. Okay, so it's easier for us to gain the relevant information, similar to your textbooks. Okay, when they draft your textbook, we give precise information. Why? So that it's easier for you to go back and refer to that information and understand that particular concept, and then connect the same information in page number 27. Okay, it must aid in decision making and problem solving. There is a practical need to know dimension about business report that differentiates them from academic and scientific reports. So if it is a business report, it is very, very important for us to ensure that the information is required by the reader. Okay, so he needs to know the information. With that perspective, I have to draft my report and ensure the other person is able to understand my report completely. Okay, it shouldn't be a vague report, wherein as an academic report, just like your marks cards. Okay, it's just crisp. This subject, this is the required mark, this is the total mark, this is the required mark, you have got this mark, total of that, this is the amount, this is the total marks what you have got, what is the percentage, pass or fail. Okay, they can just give it in a crisp way. But when I'm running it for an organization in a bigger level, this will not happen. I have to ensure the entire information what needs to be provided to the top level management, it needs to be provided. Okay, a business report can be defined as an evaluation or assessment or review of a particular event, issue, periodic, periodic or set out circumstances which is related to business. So this business reports, whatever is being provided, it will be used for evaluation or assessment. Okay, it can relate to a particular event. Let's say sales in a particular quarter, or purchase in a particular quarter, or profits in a financial year, or issues like employer issue, or COVID-19 is happening. So this is an issue. What is the impact on the organization? What is the loss? How much of loss can be retrieved? What is the business policy that I'm going to use now to ensure my business is going to be back? Okay, to do all these decisions, business report will be very important. For this perspective, business report needs to have entire information, and it has to have all these qualities. Okay, so what are the different categories of business report? Here you have compliance report. So I'll just give you a brief. Compliance report means whether the rules and regulations, what's being implied on the company, whether it is being complied or not. If it is not complied, what is the method in which I can comply? Okay, that's what is called as compliance report. They have not gone in detail and explaining all these things, so that's why I'm just giving you a brief understanding. They have just told you what are the examples of business reports, and I'm just giving you one or two line explanation so that you understand this. Then you have corporate governance report. Corporate governance is have taken some activities to be done. So whether I'm doing these activities in line with the rules what is being given by the government. Okay, so if I'm following all the protocols, then it will be called as corporate governance. I have ensured filing my financials within September 30th. Okay, within September 30th, my IT returns is filed. Within a 15th of every month, my corporate governance. Then you have sustainability report. This will be given for organization. Let's say, for example, chemical industry. Okay, so in chemical industry, they have to give sustainability report, like how far the chemical can be preserved in their organization. What happened in Andhra? Okay, so all these things, when they open up their factory, there are certain things which they have to ensure as protocol. If they fail to ensure these protocols, it can lead to various other economics economic disturbances or calamities. To avoid this, we have to ensure the sustainability report is being provided. Then you have recommendation reports. What new product we can launch, who are the new employees we can appoint. Okay, so when a recommendation is being provided by lower level to middle level or middle level to top level, that will be called as recommendation report. Investigation is again when there is some default or some production error or something. When you have researched and identified what is the fault, you update it to the top level management. That is called as investigation report. Feasibility is when a new product is being launched, or a new technology we want to launch. We are going to study whether it's going to be feasible in the environment or not, how far it's going to be a profit, how far it's going to be accepted by the public. Okay, so when I study all those things, that will be called as feasibility. Research is I'm involved in R&D activities. What is the status of my R&D activity? Quarterly, they will give a report that will be called as research report. It can be quarterly, monthly. It all depends from organization to organization. Then you have periodic reports, every monthly, every weekly, every fourth week or quarterly. Okay, certain reports will be generated. That will be called as periodic report. Then you have a situational report. Situational report is East region, North region, West region, or any particular subdivisions in this regions will be called as situation reports. Based on this particular situations or where they are being situated, the information will be provided, like what is the sales, what has happened, what is the purchase, what is the cost, what is the expenses. So what is the target, what they wanted to reach. Okay, so all this information will be provided. That will be called as situation reports. Okay, so generally they have given you a crisp information as to what are business reports. They won't ask you what is the explanation or explain and all these things. Might be if they ask you in their exam what are the different types of business reports, or any of these fall under business reports. For that perspective, kindly remember these names. Okay, so for this we will stop the class. We will start with effective writing of business reports in the next class. Okay, so kindly be patient. Just post your question once, don't repeat it multiple times. I will explain it. Just a minute. Yes. So where we started, just a minute. Exams are being postponed. Kindly, I am not the right person to ask. Kindly check with the institute. The institute will give you the best response. You can call the chapter and ask with them. Okay, where is it? This is business correspondence chapter. Yes, this is business correspondence chapters. Difference between compliance and corporate governance. Compliance is complying with all the particular policies and procedures what's being implied in the company. Corporate governance will be with respect to the different departments, whatever is applicable, have I complied with that? Okay, exam being postponed? No, I am not aware of this. Kindly check with your chapter. Explain block and semi-block with simple difference. Simple difference, I've told you already what is semi-blocked. In blocked, everything will be right aligned, left aligned. In semi-blocked, there is a procedure where date and signature will be left aligned. Subject and reference number will be center aligned. All other things will be left aligned with one tab space. Okay, investigation report is if there is any investigation being done, like what happened in Andhra, that particular chemical is being leaked and it had certain casualties, then investigation will take place, and based on that investigation report will be provided. That is called as investigation report. Backup class links, you have to check with the chapter. Kindly hold on. After all the classes are being done, it will be updated. What is persuasive message? Persuasive message is something where I'm trying to explain you, giving you certain instructions based on you have certain doubts, you are asking me. I'm giving you certain instructions. Once I give the instructions, you will follow that instructions, and based on that, whatever result you wanted, you will end at that particular result. Okay, that's where I am persuading you to do that particular activity. Based on that, the information will be available. Feasibility is the information whether I can go ahead and imply. Okay, I have come up with a new artificial intelligence car. Okay, whether it will be feasible for Indian roads, that is whether can it be used in Indian roads or not. Okay, this is called as feasibility report, where I'm studying whether it can be implemented or not. Okay, that's called as my feasibility report. Brevity is brief. Being brief is called brevity. That's another synonym. Persuasive report, the same thing. What is, they've just asked what is report. Okay. What type of MCA questions will come from this topic? Kindly go with the sample questions. Apart from that, we have mock test. Kindly go there and check with that. Brevity is being brief. The information what I want to give, I shouldn't drag and make it into 3-4 pages of my letter. My letter should be crisp, and whatever points are there, I have to give it in my letter in a brief way, either in bullet points or something. That's being called as brief or brevity. Okay. What is conclusion in semi-blocked letter? The conclusion is the same for every letter format. There is no difference between semi-blocked and blocked. Okay, the content what you're going to write is going to be standard. The format is just going to change. Okay, kindly note this. For blocked and semi-blocked, the content or the process, whatever we explained you, letterhead, reference number, salutations, the brevity, the concept of brevity, or the final conclusion. Okay, so all these things, the information will be same, but the only thing is the format in which you're going to write will be different for blocked and semi-blocked. What is reference number? Reference numbers are basically the numbers with which the information will be tracked back. Like how do you have folders? If I give you a particular folder name, you know to go open that particular folder. In that, you will check for where business communication textbook is available. Like that, reference number will be one particular number through which I will be able to identify the letter where it is being stored. Okay, in a future date. Attention line is if I want to write this letter to a particular person. Okay, like what they had given was Mr. Harish Arora. Okay, if there are thousands of employees in an organization, if I want to write it to a particular person in particular, then I write my attention line and I get it to the attention of that particular person. Okay, some examples of business letters. Examples are all the letters what you write for business correspondence will be considered as business letters. Then what is brevity? I don't know where you found this word. Not sure. Can you explain feasibility report again? Oh my God. Okay, we'll have to go with next messages. The other one is positive and negative report. There is nothing called positive report, negative report. What is annexures? Annexures are nothing but similar to your attachments. Okay, when a mail is being given with particular information, like I write a report after sorry, I write a letter. For the letter I give a particular information. Okay, I give business report, I give compliance report, or all these things. I call it as annexure 1 business report, annexure 2 compliance report. So all these things can be given as my attachments. My attachments will be called as annexures. When multiple reports are being attached to my letter, it will be called as annexures. Okay, then what is courtesy? Courtesy is showing gratitude, and the way I'm explaining my message, I'm showing certain amount of gratitude, be it a positive message or a negative message or a persuasive message. When I'm drafting my letter, I am having certain courtesy towards my um, uh, receiver, that is my reader. Okay, so when I have this courtesy, when I have certain amount of gratitude, that will be called as courtesy. Okay, persuasive message is I am persuading someone to do a particular job. Again, the repeated question. Special markings can be if it is a confidential message, or if it needs to be sent through air mail or register post. When I try to send certain things in a particular way, then it will be called as special markings. Registered office and corporate office. Registered office is the office with which they have registered their company at the beginning of the company, will be called as registered office. Corporate office can be different offices where I work from. For the state of Maharashtra, my corporate office will be in Bombay. For Delhi, it might be in some place in Delhi. Or for the place of Karnataka, it can be in Bangalore. Okay, that's called corporate office for that particular state. Okay. Um, Website name, I don't know what website name. This chapter 1, 2, 3, 4 completed by you. Everything is completed. We are in 6th chapter. Attention line to a particular person we are explaining. Is this PDF enough for exam? Yes, it's more than enough. Exams are being postponed. I am not sure. Kindly check with your chapter. Recordings will be made available by the chapter. Kindly hold on. Hold on. Mm, I don't know who is this posting repeatedly. Uh, Instead of thanking you, what is that? Instead of thanking you, you can write thank you or thanking you. Both are good. Okay, it's not a mistake. Special. Why do you people copy paste the same question? Sustainability report is whether my product can sustain for a longer time. What is the feasibility? How long it's gonna provide me business? Okay, how far I can make sure it is gonna generate revenue? That will be called as sustainability. Respected is being used by many people, but respected is not the proper it's not a proper adjective. Hence we advise you to go with dear sir or dear madam. That is more usable than respected. So if you want to use respected, you can use it, but it's not the right form of using it. Practice questions, practice mock MCQ questions will be available in the chapter website. Kindly go and check there, icsi.edu. Recordings, kindly wait, the chapter will get back to you. Okay. Fine. So all your questions for the day are being answered. We are done for the class. We'll meet you back. I think you have got the links for all the other classes. So we will be having for the another 2-3 days. We'll try to complete the entire syllabus by then. Okay. Thank you so much. Please take care. Have a good day. We'll end the class for now. Okay. Thank you.